Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. We are 9.09er English, and if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe by hitting that button below so that you get updated with our latest content. And we have a lot of videos that will help you to improve your performance for your IELTS and other English examinations. My name is Brian, and I have here Sir Ervin.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about something very exciting in this episode, and this is about general training, letter writing vocabulary for those people who are planning to take the general training English test of IELTS.
Maybe we'll begin with informing the viewers and subscribers who are supposed to take the general training module. Like what we've mentioned in our previous videos, all our videos on IELTS speaking and IELTS writing task 2 are appropriate for all IELTS examinees. It's just that writing task 1 is different for the academic and the general training candidates. So who are supposed to take general training? Number 1, if you are applying for an immigrant visa going to Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Number 2, if you're applying for fiancé visa or spouse visa. If you are a skilled worker like butcher, welder, electrician, lineman, mechanic, and you're applying for working visa, then it's the general training module that you are supposed to take. In the same way, if you are a caregiver or a senior carer and you would like to work in the United Kingdom, it's also the general training module, but specifically the UKVI version. If in case you want to register for the test but you'd like help, you can actually message Miss Jenna. She has an email. She also has a mobile number. We can help you in applying for your IELTS examination totally free of charge, even if you are not enrolled with 9.09er. So what's writing task 1 for general training candidates? It's letter writing. You're supposed to write either of the two, formal letter or informal. But I'd like to ask Sir Brian right here, because both of us have been teaching for the longest time and both of us have taken IELTS academic and IELTS general training, and for both testing centers for that matter, IDP and the British Council. So Sir Brian, what did you notice as the trend in the actual examination? Which one is more common? Is it formal letter or informal letter?
You're more likely to get something formal in the test compared to an informal letter. So it's best that you prepare for this examination a bit more than your informal letter writing.
So guys, what are examples of informal letters? The recipient is someone who is personally known to you. It could be your friend, a family member, or lover. So what's the tone here? It's not really professional. It's more on a personal level.
Yeah.
It's just that in IELTS, formal letters come out most of the time.
Yes.
So formal letters are usually addressed to recipients who sometimes might not be known to you, or if you know that person, your relationship is just on a professional level. So what are
Yes.
examples of formal letters? Application for a job, recommendation for someone who is applying for a job. Number 3, resignation from the company that you're working for. Number 4, you complain about something or you request for something to be granted. So having mentioned the two kinds of letters, the words that we have in this handout are going to help you complete your sentences and finish the examination within the given time limit, plus will allow you to avoid repetition of words. So let's take a look at the first entry, Sir Brian. It says here, informing. Can you please expound more on the first item?
Yeah, because sometimes in your IELTS, you will be informing someone of a particular event or a particular item that you're selling. So if you are to inform someone, whether it be about something that you are availing, it's an event that you would want to hold or something that you would want to purchase, or maybe a defect in an item that you have purchased. If it's a letter of information, you can start off by writing something like, I would like to inform you. And another alternative to that is, I am writing concerning, or I'm writing with regard to. And finally, you can say, I'm writing with reference to.
You've heard me mention earlier that in IELTS, you're supposed to, not supposed, but there are times when you're asked to request for something. So What are the words or phrases that you can use whenever you are asked to request for something? Let's take a look at the following. Number one, I would appreciate it if you could blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Or let's try this one. I would like to ask, request, or inquire. Then you complete the sentence. Another alternative, I would like to seek your opinion on, or I'd like to get more information about. So these are alternatives that you can possibly use, not just when you're requesting, but when you'd like to inquire regarding something. Okay? So if you're interested, these handouts are available in PDF format. They're downloadable, they're printable, especially for people like me who always need a hard copy. That's why we'd like you to visit nineronenglish.com. Don't forget to sign up for your free trial. But if you'd like to have full access, all you have to do is to subscribe, as we offer the most affordable English test preparation in the world at only $13 per month, and in Philippine pesos, that's just roughly around 760 pesos.
Yep.
So we're done with informing, and we're finished with inquiring or requesting. Let's take a look at the third aspect. And which one is this? I've mentioned earlier, it's quite common.
Very common.
Yes, in the actual examination, for you to complain about something. So say, for instance, there's an airport that's going to be established near your place, and the homeowners association members are thinking this shouldn't be the case because it's going to cause a lot of noise in the area. Or you have problems with your neighbor, that's why you'd like to complain to your landlord.
Yeah.
Or in your apartment, all of a sudden there's this appliance which is not working anymore. It's dysfunctional, so you'd like to complain about this. Those are instances when you're asked to come up with a letter of complaint. So, Sir Brian, what are the phrases that are helpful when you complain about something?
Apart from writing, I would like to complain, which is very commonly used, and examiners would expect that already. You could write something like, this letter is to express my frustration.
I love that entry.
Yeah. I'm writing to let you know how unhappy I am with, right? Or you could probably say, I would like to express my dismay. Very advanced word right there. Or perhaps you could say, I'm writing to voice my disappointment with and whatever it is that you're complaining about. Or I would like to inform you of the distress that I experienced because of, and you can mention what the specific circumstances are, especially if you're complaining about the service that was provided for you that you're dissatisfied about. And of course, you can write, I'm writing to complain, but that's already very common in your IELTS.
You don't just complain, you don't just request, you have to be grateful towards the end of your letter, right? So if you want to say thank you and would like to be more creative than the average Joe, let's take a look at the following. Please accept my sincere gratitude for.
Wow.
Another one. I thought it was wonderful, blah, blah, blah. You might also want to write, I want to express my gratitude for whatever you have done is very much appreciated, something like that. And sometimes the nature of the letter requires you to apologize. You always have to go back to the task description, because this one will tell you what you're supposed to include in your letter. And if you're asked to say sorry or to apologize, let's take a look at the examples that we have prepared for our IELTS candidates.
Well, of course, you could say, I'm truly sorry about, or I would like to apologize about. But you could also use something like, I regret that, and then follow it up with what you're regretting. Please accept my apologies for, or I sincerely apologize for. And anything that goes around those lines will definitely be a good way of closing your letter if you're causing inconvenience to a person, and perhaps you would like to apologize for that.
Well, we have mentioned earlier that you usually deal with formal letters in IELTS, but we are not saying that you totally disregard your informal letters because you'll never know if that's the one that's going to come out on the day of your examination. So we have to make you prepared regardless of the circumstances, because no one right here is Nostradamus who can predict what exactly is going to come out on the day of the exam.
True.
We look at trends, we know what's more common as compared to the others, but it's best that you have the weapons to make sure that regardless of the question, regardless of the circumstance, you can come up with an output that's going to help you get the required band score. Notice the difference in the language this time. Earlier, formal, but what if it's informal? Let's take a look at the following. Number 1, hey, it's been a long time since I heard from you. That's because you're pertaining to a friend, or say for instance, a family member you have not met for the longest time. Also, you can write something like, how are things going back there? Or, I was pleased to hear that, knowing it's been ages since we got together. Like what we've mentioned, we're only giving you a few examples, but the complete list is available at nineronline.com. Now, what about the conclusion? We're dividing this discussion into two. There's the formal letter part and the informal letter part. Sir Brian will focus on the formal letter portion while I'll do the informal letter writing discussion. Sir Brian, how do we conclude the writing task?
Okay, so if it's a formal letter that you're concluding, here are some suggestions that we can give. I look forward to hearing from you. And take note, it's not I look forward to hear from you, but hearing from you. I eagerly await your response. Or you could say, thank you so much for your assistance, especially if a certain level of service was given to you. Or I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to read this. That sounds really good. And you could say, I am hoping for a quick resolution regarding this matter, right? Or should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me if you're writing a letter of information. And kindly reach out to me once a resolution has been made.
As promised, I'm going to focus on the conclusion if it's an informal letter. Let's take a look at the following entries. I hope to see you on my birthday if you're inviting someone to come to a party, to attend an event, or something like that. Or there are also instances when you can use something like this. Let us know if we can set a date for our next trip. Obviously, you don't write something like that if the person you're writing to is not even an acquaintance. So notice the difference between the tone of a formal letter and an informal letter. Lastly, you can write something like, friend, I look forward to hearing from you as soon as possible. Catch up soon. Remember, it has to be natural. And imagine the person you are writing to is someone you are very familiar with. So hopefully this video is going to help you finish the writing task 1 on time. Number 2, come up with language using the appropriate tone. And number 3, don't use the same words that other candidates are likely to repeat when they write a formal or informal letter. And we're hoping that this video has contributed to the skills building of the general training candidates. So if you would like, you can share this to all your friends who are taking the general training module. The next 2 videos are very interesting because we're going to talk about phrasal verbs and some idiomatic expressions which you can inject in your writing and speaking. Once again, we are 9.09er. Bye!